Welcome to Money Matters with Megan Jones. Megan is founder and president of Jones Advisory Group. She's here to help you answer some of retirement's biggest questions, including ways to generate income in retirement, strategies to help your money last, and how to preserve your savings from risks like stock market volatility, healthcare and long-term care costs, and higher taxes. Megan wants to help make sure you can enjoy the retirement and financial confidence you deserve. This is Money Matters with Megan Jones.
Welcome on in to Money Matters here with Megan Jones. Once again, we've got a great show ahead. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Ready to go with this one. We're talking about making our money work for us. And that entails quite a few things. We know you work hard for your money, but come retirement, it's time to make your money work for you. Today, Megan shares some helpful financial strategies to help you do just that and to get you to and through the retirement that you want. Usually we get right into the topic, but folks, there's a few other matters. Speaking of money matters, we have shoe matters, hair matters we need to talk about. I know you thought you were talking all retirement today, but can we discuss?
Can
we even see what's going on?
There's a heart on the bottom of my shoe.
I feel like Vanna White right now.
Because I have a heart for my people. I have a heart for the families that we serve.
There you go.
And then with the heart, I got my hair done.
I knew there was a tie-in. I knew this would be seamless.
Just for everybody out there, did this for you.
You look fabulous. We couldn't let the show pass us by without sharing.
Well, we talk about working hard for our money, right? It allows me to buy shoes.
That's what I do.
The
shoe budget is paying off for you. It is paying off. You know, the other factor about working hard for your money, you always think about that song by Donna Summer. Mm-hmm. You work hard. I work hard for my money. We probably shouldn't sing. We've gone off the rails enough here. But you do think about that concept of we work so hard and then we get to this stage of retirement. Is it too much to ask that we can have our money work for us?
I don't think so. I mean, let's face it. We've got a lot of years where we worked extremely hard. We didn't take vacations. We worked overtime. We saved. And now we've got to the point where once we transition over into retirement, we need those dollars to work for us. We need it to pay us a paycheck. We need to make sure that our nest egg is big enough that we can live the life that we've always dreamed about in retirement. And we need to make sure that we've got enough different sources of income coming in to be able to do those things. So yes, and I think you can work hard for the money, but also we can make that money work for you.
I love it. I'm so glad you took that and just went with it.
I just ran with it.
You just ran with it. We have worked hard for our money. We do have to replace the paycheck. How do we step into that role and know that we've saved enough? Because I think a lot of times, you know, we think we're going to spend less in retirement. Maybe, I don't know why, because I plan on having a lot of Saturdays in retirement and spending that way too.
Right. Well, it'll be hopefully all Saturdays in retirement.
Exactly.
So, you know, I think the first thing is really understanding what that could look like. So everybody's retirement dreams and hopes are a little bit different. And I want to spend a lot of time with family. That's what's going to fuel my fire in retirement. But I might not want to do it at home. We might want to travel and go places. And I really want experiences with my family. And so I need to understand what that might look like in terms of income needs and requirements. And I think everybody's income needs are going to be a little bit different. So understanding that is paramount. And then we can transition into, okay, if this is the amount that we need for income, how's the best way to get that? What kind of investments do we need that's going to provide the income to be able to do what we want to do?
Something we also have to think about when we are thinking about having enough income is inflation, which is at the top of a lot of our minds right now. Maybe a few years ago, it would kind of creep up and we weren't considering it.
Yeah.
Healthcare costs as well, Megan.
Mm-hmm. So there's actually three that we kind of use often. We call them a hit to your bottom line: healthcare, inflation, and taxes. All of them make a big impact on the value of your dollar. I don't know about you, Amy, but I was talking to somebody the other day, and I think I drive a car now that is more expensive than the first home that I purchased.
Isn't that crazy?
I know.
Yeah.
That's inflation.
It's happening. Yes.
It's going to happen. It's going to continue to happen. So we need to account for that. Now, I know that not all expenses are at that same rate of inflation. Healthcare costs is a lot more. It's a higher adjustment and inflation rate on healthcare costs. So how do we make sure that we've got enough assets set aside to be able to account for that? And there are studies out there, Amy, that say you need anywhere between $250,000 and $300,000 per person.
That number keeps creeping up
It does.
every year as well. along with
Absolutely.
inflation.
So you've got inflation, you've got healthcare, and heaven forbid you forget about taxes because the tax man will come calling. So all those things are important. We can incorporate understanding what those adjustments could look like into your plan. It's just sitting down and explaining these are the things that we need to make sure that we get covered.
And I think it's important to note, if you've saved well and you've done a good job with the B word, the budget, throughout your working years, sometimes we do think we can do this on our own. And this doesn't seem like a DIY project, not only that can be done, but that I would want to do.
Right. I mean, can I do it? Yes. Should I do it? Maybe not. And if you're a professional in whatever your job is, you're going to feel like I did really good at this, so I can probably do really good at managing my own finances. And you can do good at it. Is it the best for you? There might be some strategies that we have that you don't know about. There's some experiences that we've gone through with our families that lend us to understanding some different things than you might know about. So it's okay if you are a do-it-yourselfer. I would say still come in and sit down with us because we can come up with some different strategies that you just might not have thought of yet. Or maybe you don't have the access to the different types of investments that we do.
It's what you do every single day. Yeah. That's the big point. And the rest of the time, you can go out and get on the golf course, go travel, be with the grandkids.
There you go.
All right, up next, what are 3 questions you might want to consider before you retire? Megan lets you know. And later, in Dollars and Cents, Megan talks about her approach to taxes in retirement. More on that topic coming up. Stay tuned.
Planning for retirement can be complicated. Helping create income that lasts, making sure your health care is covered, investing while managing risk, and don't forget about taxes. If you're overwhelmed, you're not alone. The good news is we have what you need to give you confidence to start planning for your ideal retirement, all in one convenient resource. You'll get answers to some of your biggest retirement questions in this easy-to-understand, practical resource. And best of all, there's no cost to you. Take the first step toward a confident retirement and get yours today.
On the surface, your retirement plan might look solid. With your 401k or IRA, Social Security, investments, and insurance coverage, you appear to have it all covered. But what could you be missing? Below the surface, is your retirement exposed to too much risk? It's time for a deeper dive into your portfolio. We can help you uncover the risk that lies beneath the surface and learn about strategies to help preserve your savings. Get your free risk analysis today.
Welcome back into our show here once again with Megan Jones. And Megan's going to talk about 3 questions that we might want to consider before we retire. I think it's always a good idea either to have a checklist, have these bullet points, these questions when we start to think about it. This first one, I think it's simple, goes back to the basics, doesn't it?
It kind of does. So the very first question is, when do you want to retire? I mean, at what age? What's the game plan? Is it far down the road? Is it next week, next month, next year?
Are people still circling on the calendar? Are we old school? Is that old school?
I think that's kind of old school, but kind of same thing. Like they put a countdown on their cell phone.
Yes.
When is that for you? And yes, it is a simple question, but it's not a simple answer. There's so much that goes into it. As I transition into retirement, I'm thinking about not just the money, but how do I want to spend my time? Where do I want to spend my holidays? What kind of income might I need? I mean, all these questions kind of go together, and it's not easy, but I think that's the first thing that we need to understand about you so that we know how to structure the game plan. And it's kind of like getting on a flight. The very first thing that they ask you to do when you go and book a ticket is, where are you today? Mm-hmm. What's the city you're going from? And then the second thing is, where the city that you're going to? Well, today is where I am. Where I want to go to is retirement. And then they're going to map the course to get you there. It's the same thing with us. We need to know where you are today, where we want to get you to, retirement, and we're going to map that course to make sure that we get you there and that you're successful and confident and feel good about what's going on with your finances.
It's always a journey, and everybody's going in different directions, different destinations.
That's right.
A great analogy, actually. Okay, what about number 2? Take us through that one.
So how much will you rely on Social Security in retirement? I am pretty sure that I've had people say, well, I'll never get Social Security. And maybe that's the case. I don't know what it might look like down the road. I can tell you today, I don't think today's retirees should be worried about if they're going to get Social Security or not. I mean, let's face it, the people that vote, they're getting Social Security benefits. And we're not going to continue to vote people into office if they're going to take away our money. So I'm not so concerned about that. What I am more considerate of is our younger people today. Will they still have Social Security benefits? And I think the other thing to consider is it probably won't look like what it looks like today. It is a program that's underfunded, and that's not me speaking, those are facts. So if we know that this program is underfunded, maybe we should create a different strategy so that we have something else that's going to take its place instead of relying on Social Security.
I think that's a great approach.
And I mean, when you look at the income in retirement, it used to be that there was a kind of a three-legged stool, right? I had my own retirement savings, I had pension, and then Social Security. Well, if the pensions have kind of gone by the wayside, and Social Security may or may not be there in the way that it is today or look the same as it does, then now I've gone from a three-legged stool to a pogo stick. It's now, I'm just going
up. You used to have one of those. It never was successful for me.
Yeah, it didn't end well for me either.
Didn't end well ever, yeah.
But that pogo stick is now my own internal savings. And I better make sure that what I'm saving can get me through not having those other income sources.
Okay, we've got one more question here that we're focusing on in this segment particularly. Take us through.
So that next one is healthcare. Am I doing enough today? And understanding how this all works to be able to get me through healthcare costs in retirement. And it's not just your premium on your, your policy. It's not just Medicare premium. It's the other things on top of that Medicare doesn't even cover. Medicare doesn't cover long-term care. How do I make sure that, heaven forbid it happens to me, that I've got enough money to get me through? And Amy, I feel kind of connected to you. I don't know if you know this, but your grandparents.
I'm about to find out.
Yeah. Your grandparents used to live close to my family home growing up.
Yes, you did tell me this.
And we went to your firework stand.
Hey, that was my summer income back in the day.
I mean,
it
right?
was very profitable.
Oh, well, it was great. And I remember, seeing you and thinking, oh, Amy Leitz, she's so pretty.
Oh, that's so kind of you. I'm so glad.
And you still are gorgeous.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad you came to the fireworks stand, supported the Leitz children, because it was, we had about, it seemed like 2 weeks worth of, you could sell fireworks back then. I know that's changed today, but it's amazing how, the time, the effort. I told you, I got to go with my dad to purchase the fireworks, so I saw the markup. So maybe that's why, money.
You're a little bit hesitant now to buy a whole bunch of fireworks.
Yeah, the children, my children never had fireworks because of it. Poor kids.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I brought that up because with my parents, I saw them go through and have a lot of healthcare, potential healthcare costs in retirement. Mm-hmm. It was lucky, though, that my dad had TRICARE for life, and so a lot of things were covered. But imagine if you didn't have that robust of a game plan for health costs in retirement. I mean, my mom had dementia. My father and my father-in-law both had lung cancer. My mom was in and out of, facilities, and she was in a memory care unit. I mean, those things are not covered by health insurance, and they're not covered by Medicare. So we better have some game plans put together to be able to account for all of that. And those three questions are just a handful of them.
I was going to ask you, we have just about a minute left here. If there was one that you could add in our time remaining, what would it be?
So when you want to retire, what kind of income will it look like in retirement? The healthcare costs. The last thing I would say is, what's important to you? What do you want this to look like? What do you want retirement to look like? And are you concerned, or is it impactful to you to put together a strategy for legacy planning? Because it's not just what I make and live with while I'm living, it's how do I leave a lasting impression on my family? And I want to make sure that I do that in a tax efficient way, but I also want to make sure that I'm leaving a gift and not a burden. The last thing that I want is my family to have to come out of pocket to take care of me.
Yeah.
So we better make sure that I've got some game plan in place for that, but that also there's some strategies in place that we can leave a blessing to our family.
Yeah, so many. And speaking of questions, coming up later in the show, we'll answer more questions. That's coming up, plus more. Straight ahead, Megan shares a new way to consider taxes in retirement. That's next in Dollars and Cents. And still to come, like I said, Megan will answer some of your questions. So stay with us.
How does your future look in retirement? When you don't have a strategy, the future might look a little fuzzy. But with someone asking the right questions and helping you learn where you truly stand, it can become easier to work towards your goals. You need a plan to help generate income that will last as long as you need it. And the first step to creating an income plan is an analysis of where you are now. Let us help you bring your retirement into focus with your free income analysis today.
When it comes to planning for the future, time may not always be on your side. Think about your taxes. Tax rates are historically low right now, but they'll likely be higher in the future. With the right planning and strategy, you might be able to cut your tax bill in the years to come. But don't wait until it's too late to take advantage of today's lower tax rates. Let us be your partner in planning for tomorrow, so you can enjoy your retirement today.
In today's Dollars and Cents, Megan explains her approach to taxes when it comes to your retirement accounts. Megan?
Thanks, Amy. When we think about your investments, I like to break them down into different tax buckets. Now, you can get really complicated with taxes, and quite frankly, I don't want to focus on that part of it. I want to focus on the easy part of it, just knowing how your monies are taxed in each different type of account. So first, let's talk about what we call the taxable bucket. Now, the investments that are in this bucket should kick off a 1099 to you at the beginning of the year, stating that there was some interest that was paid to you, or some dividends that kicked off to you, or something that was taxable to you in that tax year. The best example we can use from the bank world is a CD. You have your money in a CD, you're going to get a 1099 that says, okay, you made some interest off that CD and you have to pay taxes on that interest that you made. Another example would be if you had a brokerage account, let's say at Fidelity, that's the custodian we use. I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy some stock in AT&T. Now that AT&T stock is going to pay me a dividend. It doesn't matter if I take that money or if I reinvest it to buy more AT&T stock, I still have to pay tax on that dividend in that year. So those are the types of investments that go into that taxable bucket. You've got, money from the bank, you've got investments, the income that comes off of them. Those are the things in the taxable bucket. Now, they might not be uber efficient in tax terms, but they are liquid. You can get access to them quickly, and they're usually money that will get potentially a step up in basis when you pass away for your family. So there's some efficiency there. The next bucket we're going to talk about is the tax deferred bucket. Now, in this bucket, you don't have to pay tax on the earnings and the interest as it grows in the account. The best example I can give you is a retirement account. So think of IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, maybe a profit sharing plan, a simpler SEP IRA, maybe even your pension. This is money that was not taxed at the beginning. It's not taxed along the way, but when you take that money out and stick it in your pocket, it's going to be taxed to you. And it's going to be taxed to you at whatever the tax rates are down the line in the future when you take it out and put it in your pocket. We get some tax benefit from the fact that this compounding interest is working and we're not having to pay tax on that money yet. But you are creating potentially a tax bomb, because at some time in the future, you're going to have to take that money out. And you actually have joined in an agreement with the IRS. You don't really think about it that way, but your partnership with the IRS says at some point in time, I'm going to give you your piece of my pie in the form of taxes. Now, the reason I don't like this strategy as much is because they hold all the cards. They're going to tell me when I have to take that money out in terms of required distributions, and they're going to tell me what the tax rate is that I have to pay on that money. So if I wanted to be as efficient as I can be, I'm going to look to the next bucket, which is our favorite bucket, the tax-free bucket. How do I get my money in a tax-free bucket? We need to pay tax on the front end, so therefore we don't pay tax on the back end. And a Roth IRA is the best example of this. Again, I'm talking about the tax qualification of the money, not necessarily what it's invested in. A Roth IRA can be invested in cash, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities. You can invest it in anything, but the Roth tax efficiency is coming from the fact that I've already paid tax on that money, and so as it grows, I don't have to pay tax again. And not only that, not only do I not have to pay tax on that money, when the money transitions to my family, they don't have to pay taxes either. So think about this in terms of efficiency. You've got the taxable bucket, the tax deferred bucket, and then the tax-free bucket. If you're going to leave money to your family, leave it in the taxable bucket so they get a step-up basis, or leave the tax-free bucket so that they're not worried about paying tax on that money. Both of those are great opportunities for your estate plan. Again, tax efficiency is a big topic. We want to make sure that you are as efficient as you can be with your money. And that's what we have to say in dollars and cents.
Thanks, Megan. Still to come, we'll hear directly from you in our Q&A segment. Money Matters with Megan Jones continues after this. Stay with us.
How does your future look in retirement? When you don't have a strategy, the future might look a little fuzzy. But with someone asking the right questions and helping you learn where you truly stand, it can become easier to work towards your goals. You need a plan to help generate income that will last as long as you need it. And the first step to creating an income plan is an analysis of where you are now. Let us help you bring your retirement into focus with your free income analysis today.
On the surface, your retirement plan might look solid. With your 401k or IRA, Social Security, investments, and insurance coverage, you appear to have it all covered. But what could you be missing? Below the surface, is your retirement exposed to too much risk? It's time for a deeper dive into your portfolio. We can help you uncover the risk that lies beneath the surface and learn about strategies to help preserve your savings. Get your free risk analysis today.
Welcome back into our show. We've had a great one today, and now it's time to get to some of the questions you have for Megan. It's always a fun part of the show. I know you're always ready. Your hands are...
Yeah, I'm ready.
I know. This is what it means when she's ready. I love this. All right, let's go here. Daniel from Wamego. Do you believe it is a good idea to have my investments, taxes, and legal documents for my estate all handled by the same firm? This is an interesting question. Sometimes you can't handle all of it. So
yeah,
there's that part of it.
Well, so the good news is I don't think that there's anything wrong with having a firm be the quarterback. And maybe they might not do everything, but they can make sure it's all getting done. I think that's really important. I'm not an attorney. I don't purport to be. I will say that we have relationships with estate planning attorneys if we need to. We do have relationships with CPAs if we need somebody to do the taxes. We don't physically do our clients' taxes. We coordinate with the CPAs to make sure that the tax planning is good. I don't think there's anything wrong, though, with having a firm manage all of it so that we make sure it's all getting done. And so I've heard people say, well, I don't want all my eggs in one basket.
But there's also a comfort level to having it for some people, I think.
Well, and you don't want scrambled eggs either, right? I mean, you have to have some sort of, a plan of how it's all going to work together. It's like a Rubik's Cube, right? You've got all the different things and you got to make sure that it all fits.
Could you ever do that?
No.
Couldn't.
Somebody told me one time that there's like so many moves to do it.
I don't believe it.
I'm not your girl for Rubik's Cubes.
Okay, next question. This is from Roger in Rossville. I'm nervous about how much money I have in the stock market. What's the appropriate amount for me to have invested in my early 60s? I was hoping he'd put his age in there or near, and that gives you a better idea.
It does. Everybody's different, Roger, but what I would say is it does make sense that in your mind you're starting to think of, as I transition into my 60s, maybe I won't have as much at risk in the market. And I think that makes sense and it's logical. Now, there's some rule of thumbs you can go by that say, take 100 minus your age, and that's the percentage of your portfolio that you should have in the stock market. I've also heard the other way, take your age and 100 minus your age, and that's the amount you should have in safety. So I think the rule of thumb or the guideline is just understanding what your comfort level is, also understanding what those dollars need to do. Are they needing to pay you a paycheck and income? Well, then we might need to have some accounts set aside that are strictly structured for income. If there's some leftover, which we hope that there is, then we can put that money in the accounts that are more set up for growth. I don't think there has to be a one-size-fits-all. And I think sometimes people think their money needs to do all things. It's okay having some of your money be set up for different things. We talk about, Amy, kind of your money needing to do 5 things. Mm-hmm. Grow, we need some protected, we need some income, some liquidity, and some tax efficiency. We just usually can't get all of that in one account. So we can have some different investments that are structured for different things. So Roger, not one size fits all, but probably need to be looking at making sure we've got that right mix.
And having someone by your side. I think this is a great, opportunity to say that.
That's right.
Having your team alongside you. All right, here's one from Sandra in Carbondale. I recently lost my job with a company I've been with for more than 20 years. I'm at a loss as to what I should do with my 401k. Can you help? It's tough.
It is tough. I would say, Sandra, number one, yes, of course we can help you. The first thing that we're going to want to do is when we sit down with you is to understand what the next phase might look like for you. Transitioning those dollars into an individual retirement account is most likely what we're going to recommend. If it's a pre-tax, it'll go into a traditional IRA. If it's an after-tax, it'll go into a Roth IRA. Either way, getting it out of the 401k into an account that you can manage, or at least somebody can assist you with, I think is going to be important. You don't work for that company anymore, so don't leave your retirement accounts there. One of the reasons I say that is because I have sat down with people, Amy, and they have their accounts everywhere. I mean, it is just, a 401k here, a 401k
scavenger
here.
hunt.
100%. And number one, if you don't know where they are, how is your family going to know where they are? And how is your kids grieving the loss of their parent going to come in and know what to do? And so I think it is important to make that transition. And then also when we sit down and go through, Sandra, with you, understanding what that next goal might be for you and what that next phase might be. And let's help create a strategy to get you there.
Okay, here's one from Donna in Topeka. I'm 62 years old and my mother passed away and left me an IRA with about $600,000 in it. What do I need to know about this account? I don't want to make the wrong move and owe too much in taxes.
Okay,
and that might already be laid out for her.
It might, Donna. Unfortunately, sorry to hear that your mother passed. It doesn't matter if in your 20s, you're in your 40s, or your 60s, you always want your mama. I do think, though, that unless there was any Roth piece of that IRA, most likely you're going to have to pay tax on those dollars, and there's really no way around it. There is not the ability to do what's called a Roth conversion on an inherited retirement account. So once you hit the first non-spouse beneficiary, like Donna in this case, you can't roll it from a pre-tax IRA to an after-tax Roth. You have to pay the tax on it. So the other consideration is that the tax law has changed now. So instead of being able to stretch out taking money out of that account, they've taken, potentially 40 years and smushed it into 10. So now, regardless of when you get that account, you only have 10 years to take it out and pay tax on all of it. So that's a pretty considerable retirement account as far as the value.
And 10 years seems like a long time until you put it into that dollar amount.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking $1 million, that's an extra $100,000 or more every single year in income. And so what might that do to your tax bracket and your tax buckets? So those are all things that we want to consider for you, Donna, and we'll help. We just need to sit down and go through it with you.
All right, Megan, thank you so much. Great insight as always. If you're ready to create a tax-efficient retirement plan designed to protect your wealth, generate income for life, and leave a lasting legacy, now is the time to connect with the team at Jones Advisory Group. For Megan and the entire team, I'm Amy Leitz. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week on Money Matters with Megan Jones.